We are here on the Attorney General's original petition and suit affecting the parent-child relationship. Present in the virtual courtroom is Shelby Bennett. Ms. Bennett, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Also present is Bobby Wade. Mr. Wade, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
The state calls Shelby Bennett.
Ms. Bennett, will you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can lower your hand. You may proceed, Ms. Ratliff.
Ma'am, would you please state your name?
Shelby Bennett.
Are you the mother of Skylar Leanne Wade, born June 1st of 2019?
Yes, ma'am.
And who is the child's father?
Bobby Lee Wade.
Okay. And you and Mr. Wade signed an acknowledgement of paternity that he is the father, probably at the hospital, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did you and Mr. Wade live together after Skylar was born?
Yes, ma'am.
When did the two of you separate?
When she was about 13 months old.
Okay, so that would have been July of 2020. I mean, July of 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Since that time, has Mr. Wade given you any money for child support?
Probably a total of $150.
Okay. If the court orders him to pay retroactive support, are you willing to give him credit for that amount?
Yes.
And has he bought anything for the child since the two of you separated and given it to you for your use?
Only this past year.
Okay. And what sorts of things has he given you to help you out with?
Really, it's just been like birthday or Christmas gifts.
Okay. So he hasn't bought like diapers every month or
No.
clothing or anything, or food or anything like that. Okay.
No.
Okay. And since you've been separated, has Mr. Wade been visiting Skylar?
Recently, this past year and a half.
Okay. How often does he visit her?
The first few months it was pretty regularly. Every month or month and a half, but here lately it's just whenever.
Okay. Is it once a month, once every other month?
I'd say about once every 3 or 4 months.
Okay. And does he come to your house or do you all do that somewhere else? What happens?
No, normally we go to his parents' house.
Okay, what city do his parents live in?
Seymour, Texas.
Okay. And so are you there also when he visits the child or just his parents?
No, ma'am, we're all together. It's all of us.
Okay, and how long do these visits usually last?
They could last all day. They could last a few hours.
Okay. And do you have any issue with leaving the child with his parents while he's visiting, or do you feel like you have to be there?
With his parents, no, not really. I can leave.
Okay.
But I don't like to be gone for too long.
Okay. And do you have any issue with Mr. Wade visiting Skylar unsupervised by either yourself or his parents?
Yes.
And why do you have an issue with that?
He's a very bad alcoholic.
And how do you know that?
I've witnessed.
Okay. And so since the two have been separated, have you ever left Mr. Wade alone with Skylar?
I'm sorry, what was that? You cut out.
Since the two of you have been separated, has Mr. Wade ever had Skylar by himself?
No.
Okay. And what sorts of things have you seen to make you think that he's an alcoholic?
I have witnessed him buying the alcohol, drinking it. I have been there when he's bought it.
Okay. And do you have any other issues other than that?
No, not really. It just all kind of revolves around that.
Okay. Do you have any issues with any other person that Mr. Wade knows?
Yes.
And who is that person?
His wife.
You know her name?
Sydney. What? Sydney Wade?
Okay. And why do you have an issue with Sydney Wade?
She has made it very clear that my child's safety is not a concern to her.
Okay. And is there any reason that your address and phone number and other personal information should not be in the court order where she could look it up or Mr. Wade would have access to it?
No.
Okay, so you don't have any issue with Mr. Wade having your information as required by law, such as your address, phone number, employer, things like that?
No.
Okay, if you move, do you have any issues with reporting your new address, phone number to Mr. Wade in the future if you move?
No.
Okay. And so him having your personal information would not cause your child to be in danger either physically or emotionally, is what you're saying?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And are you requesting that the court continue to order Mr. Wade to have supervised visitation either by you or his parents because of his alcohol problems indefinitely?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you don't feel it's in the best interest of your child for him to ever have unsupervised visitation?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And that's why you've not left Skylar alone with him because of those concerns, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Should the drop off and pickup point, if the court orders any kind of unsupervised visitation or just supervised by his parents, should the drop off and pickup point continue to be his parents' house?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other place available in Seymour in case they can't do it anymore that you would want that to happen? Okay.
My parents' house?
Okay. Do they live in Seymour also?
Yes.
Does Mr. Wade know where they live?
Yes.
Okay. And how is your child insured for medical insurance?
Through Medicaid.
Okay. Do you have health insurance available for the child through any other means at a reasonable cost?
No.
Okay. Is there anything else you need to tell the court about any of these issues I haven't asked you about?
No, ma'am.
Are you requesting that the court order 4 years of retroactive child support minus the $150 that Mr. Wade has given you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Has he known where to reach you if he wanted to pay you some money?
Yes.
Okay. The state passes the witness.
Mr. Wade, do you have any questions of Ms. Bennett about what she just testified to?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Next
I
witness.
will say that
You'll get an opportunity, Mr. Wade. So this is the time, if you have questions of Ms. Bennett, you can ask her.
no, ma'am, I do not.
Okay. Ms. Ratliff.
State calls Bobby Wade.
Mr. Wade, will you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can lower your hand. You may proceed, Ms. Ratliff.
So would you please state your name?
Bobby Lee Wade.
And are you the father of Skylar Leanne Wade, born June 1st of 2019?
Yes, ma'am.
And you signed an acknowledgement of paternity along with the mother, probably at the hospital, that you are the father, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And where are you currently employed?
TDCJ. Texas
Okay,
Department of Criminal Justice.
and how long have you worked there?
The 24th of this month will be 9 months.
Okay, so you started sometime in January, like January
Yes, ma'am.
24th? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
and what do you make there?
30, no, I think it was like 37.58. It's right. It's a little under $3,800 a month.
Okay, 37.58 gross.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you have health insurance and dental insurance available for the child that you could put the child on at work?
Yes, ma'am.
And how much would it cost to put the child on health insurance at work?
I'm wanting to say it'll be around $100.
Okay, and you're guessing, right? You haven't checked with anybody, correct?
Yes, ma'am. We discussed this earlier.
Okay. And do you know how much it would cost to put the child on dental insurance?
I think altogether it would be like put her the health, dental, and vision.
Okay, but you haven't checked it. That's just
No,
an
ma'am. I have
estimate.
not had a chance to check.
Okay, all right.
I'm on my cell phone doing this, talking to y'all.
Okay. Do you agree with Ms. Bennett's testimony that you've given her about $150 since the two of you separated?
Yes.
Do you agree with her testimony that you separated approximately June of 2020?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, prior to TDCJ, where did you work?
Empire Fabrication and Machining.
Okay, and when did you start working there?
I'm wanting to say it's been about a year and a half ago, so
Okay,
November.
and November of 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you worked there up until you got this new job at TDCJ in January, right?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I was unemployed for about 3 months.
Okay. Did you collect unemployment?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay. So if you were employed for 3 months, you were unemployed in December, November, and October
Yes, ma'am.
of 2023 or 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
2023. Okay. Okay. And how much did you make at Empire?
I was making $14 an hour, and I was working averaging 40 hours a week.
Okay, $14 an hour, 40 hours a week. Okay. And then prior to Empire, where were you working?
Cargill Meat Manufacturing.
Okay. And
in
when did
Creama.
you start? Okay. When did you start working there?
Honestly, ma'am, it's been a while. Like, but I was there like 6 months.
Okay. Was that 6 months before you started the Empire job?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that would have been about April of 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how much were you working? I mean, I'm sorry, how much were you making there?
22, like 21, something
Okay,
along those lines.
Okay, $21 an hour. Did you work 40 hours a week?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you have that job until you started at Empire?
Yes, ma'am. I left
I'm
there
sorry.
to go to work at Empire.
Okay, okay. And then prior to Cargill Meat Processing, where did you work?
Jim's Construction.
Okay, and when did you start working there?
It was about 6 months to a year before that.
Okay,
Before Cargill.
okay. And how much did you make there?
I was making $12 an hour.
How many hours a week were you working?
40, give or take.
Okay. Now, at any of these jobs, did you have to pay self-employment taxes?
Just the Jim's Construction.
Okay, that's the only one where you paid self-employment taxes, the rest took out your
Yes.
taxes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any other children that are under 18 years old?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, do you agree with Miss Bennett's testimony that she brings your daughter over to your mom and dad's and then you visit for a while she's there?
That's going to be an issue there because
Okay,
my
but
mother
I'm
passed
asking you,
away.
is that what's been going on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when's the last time you've seen your daughter?
Last weekend.
Okay, and how long was that visit?
It was for about 3 hours.
Okay, and prior to that, when did you see her?
It was a couple of months.
Okay, how
It
far
was
away
when
do
my
you?
mom passed away.
Oh, okay, I'm
So
sorry to
it
hear that.
was July the 20th.
Okay, and how long do you think that visit lasted?
That was pretty much all day.
Okay. Do you drink?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, have you had an alcohol problem in the past?
No, ma'am.
Do you drink to excess?
No, ma'am.
Okay, would you drink while you have possession of your child?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Have you ever been charged with any DWIs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, when was your last DWI?
June the 13th of this year.
This year, okay. Did you have the child in the car?
No, ma'am.
Okay, was there an accident?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and how did you get stopped, charged with DWI? What happened?
I did not have my lights on.
Okay,
I was reaching to turn my lights on and he pulled me over.
okay, and were you leaving a bar or what happened?
No, I was leaving my house.
You were leaving your house, okay. And how much did you have to drink before you left your house where you forgot to turn your lights on?
About a 6-pack.
Okay. And have you had any other DWIs?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that was your one and only one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any criminal convictions for anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have a car seat?
No, ma'am, but I can get one.
Okay. Do you have a valid driver's license?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay. And so how are you getting back and forth to work?
Me and my wife both work at the same place.
Okay, so she takes
We're on
you.
the same shift and
Okay, so do you not have a valid driver's license as a result of the DWI?
no, ma'am.
Okay, why don't you have a valid driver's license?
I just never went and got it.
Okay, so you've never had a valid driver's license?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have a conviction for the DWI or you've just been charged?
Yes, ma'am, I'm on probation right now for the DWI.
Okay. And how long is your probation?
It's for a year.
Okay. When did it start?
The 8th of August of this year.
Okay. And how far away do you live from Seymour?
I'm going to say it's like 2.5 hours.
Okay. And do you have the same days off every week or is it
No,
different
ma'am,
days all
I
the
do
time?
not. It's
Okay.
4 on, 4 off, and it's a rotating schedule.
Okay. Have you and Miss Bennett been able to communicate as to what your days off are if you want to come for a visit?
Yes, ma'am, to an extent.
Okay, so there's not one day a week off you have ever that's the same
That's
day?
never the same.
Okay.
Like, I go back Wednesday, and I work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I'm off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it just
Okay.
repeats.
Okay. Now you said earlier, you said something about having visitation at your dad's would be an issue. Why is that an issue?
Because when my mom passed away, my dad sold the property,
Okay.
and he
So
is
he just,
fixing to be moving to San Angelo.
okay. And so that's even further away from you, right?
Yes, ma'am. Well, that's
Okay.
about the same.
About the same, okay. Do you have any issue with Miss Bennett supervising the visitation?
No,
Do you eventually want visitation that isn't supervised?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. How many supervised visits do you think you should have before you can have unsupervised visits?
Whatever it takes, ma'am, to be honest with you.
Okay. And you've never had this child overnight, correct?
Do what, ma'am?
You've never had your daughter overnight.
No, ma'am.
Okay. In the past year, how often do you think you've seen her?
I'm wanting to say about 15 times.
Okay. And she knows who you are. You know, she knows your
Yeah.
daddy, and you have a
Yeah, I don't
relationship.
know if she knows I'm her dad because of the whole 2 years that,
Okay.
because I didn't come back into her life, get back into her life till she was 3.
And so she's never been to your house either, right? To you and your wife's house?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Does your wife have an issue with her being there?
No, ma'am, she does not.
Has your wife met her?
Yes.
Okay. How did your wife meet her?
When we met, when I got back into her life in 22,
Okay.
she met her then.
Okay. Do you and your wife have any children?
No, ma'am, we did not.
Okay. Does she have any children herself?
No, ma'am.
Okay. If the court ordered overnight visitation, do you have a bedroom and everything that your child could sleep in while she's
Mr.
No,
Wade?
there?
ma'am, not at this. No, ma'am, not at this time. But I'm looking to move into a bigger house.
Okay, we're not able to hear you, Mr. Wade. Okay, now, could you repeat your answer?
No, ma'am, but not at this time. But we are looking to move into a bigger house next month.
Okay. And who all lives at your house?
Just me and my wife.
And it's a 1-bedroom house?
Yeah, it's a 1 bed. It's a efficiency.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell the court regarding any of these issues I have not asked you about?
No, ma'am.
The state passes the witness.
Okay, Ms. Bennett, do you have any questions of Mr. Wade?
No, ma'am.
All right. And Mr. Wade, do you have any issues with exercising visitation with your child at Ms. Bennett's parents' home?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ratliff.
Your Honor, the state would request that the acknowledgement of paternity, which was attached to our pleading, served on both parties, be marked as State's Exhibit 1 and entered into evidence.
Any objection, Mr. Wade, as to the acknowledgement of paternity coming into evidence?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Bennett?
No, ma'am.
Okay, State's Exhibit 1 is admitted.
With that, Your Honor, the state rests and closes.
All right, the state is rested. Mr. Wade, do you have any further testimony at this time?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Ms. Bennett, do you have any further testimony?
No, ma'am.
All right, close, Ms. Ratliff.
Yes, Your Honor, based on the acknowledgement of paternity, judge, the state would request that the court find Mr. Wade has a duty to support the child, and that the court make the appropriate conservatorship and possession orders based on the party's testimony, that the court order guideline child support based on Mr. Wade's salary, gross salary of $3,758, $622 per month, beginning the 1st of October of 2024. Since he does not know how much insurance will cost, the state would request that at this time Ms. Bennett be ordered to continue to apply to enroll the child in a government health plan. And that if Mr. Bennett sends proof of insurance, we could stop the medical support payment. The state requests that Mr. Wade be ordered to pay $75 a month medical support beginning the 1st of October of 2024. The state requests that he be ordered to pay court costs as billed by the district clerk no later than the 9th of September 2025, and that the court make a determination as to whether or not Mr. Bennett should pay retroactive child support and for what period of time, And I do have the monthly child support calculations for all the periods of time that he's testified to.
Okay, Mr. Wade, do you have any further requests? What are you requesting? Okay, I can't hear you, Mr. Wade. Can you start over?
She kind of broke up when what she was saying. I did not catch everything.
Okay, do you want to repeat, Angie, your close?
Sure. Your Honor, the state would request that, based on the acknowledgement of paternity that was entered into evidence, that the court find that Mr. Wade has the duty to support the child, that the court make the appropriate conservatorship and possession orders based on the testimony, that the court order Mr. Wade to pay guideline child support of $622 a month beginning the 1st of October 2024, that court order Ms. Bennett to continue to apply to enroll the child in the government health plans because we do not know how much insurance that Mr. Wade's employer will cost for the child. That Mr. Wade be ordered to pay $75 a month medical support beginning the 1st of October 2024. That he be ordered to pay court costs as billed by the district clerk no later than September 9th of 2025. That the court make a ruling regarding whether or not Mr. Wade should be ordered to pay retroactive child support and for what period of time. The state would request that any retroactive judgment include a credit for the $150 that he's paid so far to Ms. Bennett for support of the child. And the state would request that the court make a ruling as to a non-disclosure finding.
Okay, Mr. Wade, other than those things mentioned by the Attorney General's office, or if it's something different, what are you requesting?
What are you meaning by that, ma'am?
How are you requesting that I rule? Is there anything that you particularly want regarding the issues before the court?
I'm okay with the child support, the 642 and plus the medical, but the back child support, I'm not okay with, for the simple fact because there was the 2 years that I was not allowed to see her or anything.
Okay. Ms. Bennett, what are you requesting?
The child support is fine with me. The only thing that I am requesting is in regards to the visitation. And back child support is not a big deal. I will request it because he was allowed to be in her life, but he chose not to because of the alcohol. And
No, that was not.
so that is what I will be requesting.
Okay. All right. I do find that Mr. Wade is executed a valid acknowledgement of paternity and has a duty to support the child as the father of the child. I'm not going to order a non-disclosure as Ms. Bennett stated it was not necessary. I will order that Ms. Bennett be the sole managing conservator of the child, with Mr. Bennett being the possessory conservator of the child. Mr. Wade, did I say Mr. Wade? The possessory conservator. Ms. Bennett will be the parent with the exclusive right to determine the primary residence of the child without regard to geographic location. Possession and access, the parties can agree to anything and everything that they want to agree to regarding possession and access. I am going to make an injunction as to alcohol for Mr. Wade, that no alcohol shall be consumed 12 hours prior to or during any possession and access with the child. Notice of intent to visit with the child will be a 5-day notice that must be given to Miss Bennett, whether that's by text message or calling, just to let Miss Bennett know that you do intend to exercise possession and access. That's to kind of limit Miss Bennett from waiting around or anything like that, with the thought that you will be exercising visitation and you not show up. Because of the distance between the parties, I'm going to order one Saturday. We'll make it a Saturday of your choosing, Mr. Wade, since your schedule is kind of varies. One Saturday of the month to be exercised at Miss Bennett's parents' home, their residence, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. to be supervised by Miss Bennett or Miss Bennett's parents. And that will continue for 10 periods of possession. After 10, and I'm going to make them consecutive, after 10 consecutive periods of possession have been completed, the possession will be 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Unsupervised for 10 periods of possession. And the next periods of possession also to take place at Miss Bennett's, or exchange to take place at Miss Bennett's house. That means you pick the child up, Miss Bennett's parents' house, pick the child up there and drop the child off. And the next set of possession and access will be 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. At this time, that will continue until further order of the court. I am, and I will say that if you show up, Mr. Wade, and you appear to be intoxicated, can smell alcohol, any of those things, then Miss Bennett will fully have the right to not allow you into her parents' home, or to have visitation with the child, or to pick up the child and bring the child back. So it's super important that you show up right and stay right. All right. Also, I'm going to order Thursday, or I'm going to put by agreement, but 1 day out of the week. Usually we put Thursdays, but you can agree to any time or any day. But I'm going to order Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. electronic access to the child, either by phone or video. That way Mr. Wade can maintain contact throughout the week rather than the once a month visit. And can contact the child and catch up with the child, see how the child is doing, things like that. That doesn't mean you can't contact Miss Bennett any other time, but that time is going to be set aside for just you and the child to have a visit. And it may not last 2 hours. It may last 30 minutes, 15 minutes, depending on.
Anything better than nothing.
Yes. So Thursdays, it's going to be in the order Thursdays from 6 to 8, but you two can agree on anything just to allow you some weekly contact.
Okay.
And current child, I'm going to order Mr. Wade to maintain he has health insurance available and dental insurance available. I am ordering Mr. Wade to cover the child on health insurance and dental insurance. And I am ordering Mr. Wade to pay $612 per month current child support beginning October 1st, 2024. I am ordering $17,500 in retroactive child support, even though you weren't visiting the child, you knew you had a child, and you should have been supporting the child. And I'm ordering $150 to be paid towards that judgment beginning October 1st, 2024. Court costs will be assessed against Mr. Wade to pay 1 year from today's date. And let's see, are there any other issues that need to be addressed, Ms. Ratliff?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
All right. Any party can ask for a new hearing on any of the issues that I ruled on today by filing a trial de novo with the Baylor County District Clerk's Office within the next 3 days. It must be in writing. It must specify the portion or portions of my ruling in which a new hearing is being requested, and notice must go out to all of the parties on the case. Ms. Ratliff will prepare the order that I've entered today, submit it to me for signature, and then a copy will go out to you, Ms. Bennett, and to you, Mr. Wade. I appreciate you both being here today. That concludes today's hearing, and you're free to disconnect from the Zoom.